Okay,
So,
here we go.
should I close the door?
Sure, that'd be great.
Hello.
Okay, I think I need to move over.
All right.
So people see waiting have entered.
So like, oh wow, check that out.
Oh, perfect. Good. I'm gonna move.
You want to scoot
over.
down? Yeah, scoot down. Move some more chairs. Just move myself down. I've come out of the Diet Coke closet and I have my actual Diet Coke.
Oh,
I took the
wonderful.
label off.
Yeah. Get that Diet Coke.
Well, I just want people to think I'm healthy, but I can't help it. I need a Diet Coke. They'll recognize the bottle and say,
Yeah. I love it.
Diet Coke.
Okay. Hi. Let's see. One participant.
There's you. Got
Okay.
7 people are waiting.
Wonderful.
It's great.
Okay, perfect.
So which is the camera? So this is the black thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. Absolutely. And I want to see,
I'm going to tuck this shirt in because I feel.
does everyone have access to the chat room and can you hear me?
Can you guys hear me?
Andrew?
Wonderful. Scott is here. Hannah can hear. Mia can hear. Wonderful. There's. Okay, perfect. Wonderful. Okay, good. Good morning, everyone. I want to make sure everybody is admitted, so bear with me for just 1 second while I make sure. So yes. Okay, so we have 8 people here. Perfect. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay. So hello, everyone. My name is Julie. I'm the program manager with the Lodestar Center Nonprofit Management Institute.
Hello, B.
And
Thank you.
You've probably heard from me at some point so far, so it's good to have you all here. And again, if anything comes up throughout the meeting, please just do the chat room, and like if some technical issue comes up, just let us know there. So I'm going to introduce to you our instructor, George Nunez, who I'm so excited to work with and teach this class with us. He's so talented and such a great person to work with. So I want to introduce him and let him talk about himself for a second. So,
Thank you, Julie. Thank you so much. And hello, everybody. Thank you for signing up with the Lodestar Center to take this grant writing course for state and foundation proposals. I think I've taught, this is now the third time I've taught this series of 2 classes. And I'll tell you a little bit about who I am. So I have a long time history working as a fundraiser in various roles: major gifts officer, director of development, general manager, all those sorts of things. And along the way, I picked up grant writing as a skill, because we all need to write grant writing, learn grant writing if we're working in the nonprofit sector. So what I do now is I have my own consulting practice, and I instruct courses like these online ones for ASU Lodestar, as well as a couple in-person classes that I also instruct. And when I'm not doing this, I have an ongoing contract with a number of local nonprofit organizations, the Arizona Community Foundation. New to you, Julie, I have a new ongoing relationship with the Sedona International Film Festival. So I am working freelance. I actually right now have a grant writing client in New York City called STEM from Dance. It's an organization that teaches STEM subjects through dance. My academic background, I have a certification as a chartered advisor in philanthropy, certificate in arts administration, a master's in arts administration, and a certificate in fundraising management. I belong to a number of professional associations. The one most relevant here is the Grant Professionals Association. And wherever you are in the country, most cities you can find a chapter. We have a great one here in Phoenix. We'll talk about that more in the class. And then finally, what's probably most relevant to this class is that I have served on a number of grant panels and reviewed proposals for the National Endowment for the Arts, for several state arts agencies, and for private foundations. That's basically who I am.
Wow, that's so exciting.
Yeah, a life of experience.
I always love hearing about George's background. It's really exciting to hear all the things that you're doing. So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So I'm going to go ahead and dive into the certificate overview and talk about how it's structured and how much time you can expect to spend on this course. So the certificate takes place on ASU Canvas Learning Management System. A lot of you have already logged into Canvas. That's perfect. A couple of you are still getting access to that. It is a several step process. So I have a couple of you that I'm working with specifically. So I will get with you after this webinar and make sure you get into class. It is a little tedious, but once you get an ASU Write ID, that should be good for future classes if you want to take those with us. Depending on your background, you should expect to spend about 12 to 15 hours per week on this course. And really the main focus of this certificate is going to be on the state and foundation proposals. The next class after this is the federal proposal writing, and that obviously focuses on the federal grant writing process. So each week, students will complete a portion of the Arizona Common Grant application. Students are required to grasp each portion of that application in order to move on to the next portion. And I want to talk about that a little bit. So if your grant application is to fund X number of beds for domestic violence shelters, for example, and your first part of your grant is the needs statement. If that needs statement is not strong enough to support getting those beds for those DV shelters, your grant will not make sense. So I really want to implore how important it is to make sure you master each portion from the beginning of the course and make sure you incorporate that feedback so that your grant continues to flow and make sense. If it doesn't flow in the beginning, it's really not going to flow at the end. So I hope that makes sense, and we can get into that more if you still have questions about that. So this is a competency-based course. What does that mean? This is not an information gathering course. You will be required to show competency in each portion of the grant proposal in which you are writing. And that's just what I was saying. You have to show that you've incorporated all your feedback into each portion before you move on. Each week, again, you'll write a different portion that builds off the next. So you'll have a complete mastery of each portion before you move on. Now, in order for you to get the certificate, you'll have to complete each portion and submit your grant application via Canvas assignment link. So I hope that helps with that portion. I'm going to hand it back over to George to talk about what reasons for enrolling in the class and what you can expect.
Great, thank you. Thanks, Julie. So what can you expect to get out of the class? So I think that the first thing that you get out of taking the class is confidence. You will have more confidence than you have at this moment in your ability to write proposals in a way that they are competitive. None of us can say, I'll take a class and that means I will get every grant I apply for. That's not going to happen because we're always going to have proposals that are great, but there's not enough money that particular day. And so you'll learn to roll with the punches. Now, those are the two sort of big picture things. What you will learn are some very specific skills. How to get ready, making sure that you and the people you're writing grants for are ready to write grants. Finding funding, knowing how to match your project with the opportunities that are out there and where to look for them. Understanding funders and their motivations, because every foundation has a different reason for existence and different goals that they're seeking to fulfill. Internal grant writing teams and processes, even though the grant writer may have the ultimate responsibility within an organization, a grant writer cannot exist without an equal relationship with the finance department, programming, whoever the executive leader is who's going to sign off on the proposal, or if you're in a volunteer situation, in a volunteer staffed organization, who are the people who are filling those functions. Doesn't matter if it's a staff or a volunteer role, but those are all people that have information. It's impossible to be a master of all of those skills. And there's nothing wrong with saying, I am not the finance guy. But you just need to get somebody on your grant writing team who is the finance guy. Logic models and other tools. If you haven't heard of logic models, they're a way of organizing your project as well as the impact it seeks to have, and then the outcomes along the way that tell you that you're on the right track. And finally, increasingly important nowadays is evaluation and how you embed evaluation of your program within your grant proposal and your planning. Because foundations nowadays it's no longer sufficient to say, and if we do this, so many people will benefit. What you have now is they want to know how many people are going to benefit and what is the quality of how they're benefiting. That's what you'll gain.
Yeah.
Budgets. Sorry, we just flipped the page, and of course, I forgot the next two things. Budgets, how to create a project budget and how to adapt your organizational budget to the format, because every foundation will have a different form, though not the ones that use the Common Grant application. That's the beauty of why Lodestar has selected that form, is that once you have the Common Grant application, any foundation in Arizona that uses it, it's ready to pop onto as an attachment. I almost said pop into mail, but that's so old school. Then finally, grant management. You are going to get these grants, but then you're going to have to manage the process. How do you invoice for money to get the money released to you? What reports do you have to give? What kind of information are they tracking for evaluation? As I mentioned, you'll have a submission-ready Arizona Common Grant proposal. And one reason why this is good is that sometimes you'll get an email that says, due on September 13th, a new grant opportunity. Well, you can't start from scratch if you've only got a few days. This gives you a head start on it. And as Julie mentioned, this class covers primarily private foundations with applicability for state, local, and county grant proposals. It does not cover the federal grant-making process. If you are planning on taking the federal course, and we encourage you to do, you will be able to carry forward with the proposal you write in the state and foundation class and continue with that project in the federal class.
Perfect. Thank you. So I'm going to take a couple minutes to talk about the benefits of completing the certificate. And this echoes a little bit what George was saying. Once you've completed your grant proposal, you'll have in-depth knowledge of every aspect of your organization's program in which you're trying to fund. This application can act as a template for future grant opportunities and to serve to help your organization become more prepared when seeking funding instead of being reactive. As George said, you might run into an opportunity on, that's due within 3 weeks. Having this proposal ready, having an in-depth knowledge of your programs is going to help you be able to mold this into most any funding opportunity that you run across. You'll learn how to manage grants, increase your overall confidence in securing funding. Now, George is going to talk a little bit about basic housekeeping.
All right. So most of you have now gotten into the Canvas system, and perhaps you've already used it in other settings, but it is the platform that we use. I like it very much. And I can use the instructor view, and I can also go in and look at what the student view is so I can see what you're actually seeing. And so each week, our course designer, who worked very hard to put this together and continues to improve it every semester, every week you have a series of activities, discussions, and written assignments. So every week you can count on those 3 things. Now the activities, some of them might be watching videos, some of them might be doing reading. Some of them might be doing reading that we provide you through links and PDFs within the platform. Others might be reading within the textbook. And our discussion topic, each week you will have a discussion that you will respond to a topic that is posted within the discussion board, and then respond to one of your colleagues. That's basically what we are trying to do here, is to build a culture for you of talking to other people to make your proposal better, because that mimics what real life's going to be when you're in an organization or you're helping an organization. You will see, I'm not going to say right now which day anything is due, because everything is due. The one consistent thing I can say is every Sunday at 11:59 p.m., wherever you are, your time, you need to have the written assignment submitted. And don't worry, the Canvas platform, when you sign in, it knows where you are, what time zone you're in. So you don't have to figure out, oh my gosh, I'm in California and the time just changed. It makes all of those adjustments for you. And then the other thing is that, Julie, I don't know which day content is available. Is it on Mondays, or it sounds like some people have already been able to get in?
I thought it was Tuesday.
Okay.
I believe it should be released by week, and we did that on purpose.
Yeah.
So for the convenience of the instructor, so that the instructor isn't grading a final proposal and then also grading a needs assessment and then grading a budget over here. So we do organize it so everyone is moving along at the same pace. Due dates are non-negotiable. You have to turn them in on time. That is what grant writing is meeting deadlines. Grant writers funders are not, unfortunately, they are not empathetic to a lot of, to anything that happens. If you miss a deadline when you're submitting a grant, then it's over. So we really try and mimic that in this classroom, and we are very firm on those deadlines and want you guys to be successful in that. Yeah. So yeah, I hope that answers.
It does answer that. And then just to follow up with that, so in terms of the grading, there is a point system that is within the grading platform. And if your assignment's one day late, automatically I will take 1 point for that day, and then for each day after that. So I just want you to know up front, if you submit late, there is a consequence. It will still be graded, and this is a pass-fail course, So you can calculate based on the points for every course, every component, what a passing grade will be. All right, and you will see that. The next thing in terms of our discussion forum, we're creating this community of learners, as I said, and this is a way to get feedback, both not just from me, but from each other. Yes, I have a lot of experience in this, but whenever I read what somebody else has written about a third person in this discussion, I always learn something, because I'm looking through a filter of being the instructor of this course and what I need to do so that you will pass this course. That's our goal. We want you to pass. And other people who don't have that set of responsibilities may see something totally different in your proposal. Self-directed. You may have noticed that there is a video that I posted yesterday that you connect to via YouTube. It is not a substitute for doing the coursework. It's not a lecture. This isn't a lecture class. So you don't go in, I lecture, you take notes. What this is you do the course of study, and at the beginning of every week, I give you some highlights. Or it may be that I noticed something in the previous week that I want everybody to think about. So my lectures, it's not even a lecture, I shouldn't even use that word. So the video I record, it's maybe 3 minutes long, 4 minutes long. And it's not designed to substitute for doing the coursework. Let's see, what to expect from each module. Julie already said this really well. Don't fall behind in anything because we are covering a lot of ground very quickly. And what's great about the way the course designer laid this out is that, what can I say? What image can I give? It is as if we are putting the bricks into a staircase as we are climbing to the top. Right? The staircase isn't already there. This week we make this next step, take one step up. Then we build the next step, then we take another step up. And finally, by the end of the 6 weeks, we've climbed all the way to the top of that staircase and we have finished the grant proposal. Opportunities for questions. You've probably seen the link to the virtual office forum. That's where you should ask questions. If you have a question about the course, I request that if you say, hey, George, I don't get blah, blah, blah. Well, don't email me directly that. And if you do, I'm going to say, great question. I'm going to answer this in the virtual office forum, because you will help yourself and your colleagues learn if we post all the kinds of questions where everybody can see them. So if you, please don't be offended if I say, hey, great question, I'm going to answer it in the office forum. If there's something that you need to talk about that is more a private question that is not related to the understanding the course content, of course, then please email me. And I am, unless there is an extenuating circumstance, I can always respond within 24 hours.
Perfect. Perfect. This is great. Thank you so much. I think we've covered most of everything. I'm going to wrap up with a few more topics. I do, just with some like house cleaning things, technical help. So if you do need technical help, you can contact George for, like he was saying in the virtual office. You can always email me, and I will do my best to help troubleshoot and see what's going on. Just know that we're not here on the weekends. If you email me on Sunday at 2, I'm not going to get that email until regular business hours, Monday through Friday. So you do have to communicate with us in a timely manner within those hours. Let's see. You can also contact the help desk for any issues with Canvas. If there's some kind of weird glitch within the Canvas system itself, you definitely want to let us know if you're having trouble logging in. You can always contact them for like password reset, anything that has to do with personal information, then you can contact for them as well. Few things I wanted, another couple things I wanted to mention is we are past the refund deadline. There is no opportunity for refunds at this point. This class can get, it can be a lot for some students. Some people breeze right through it, but please know that the best thing for everyone to do right now is to try and finish the course. And we want to be here to help you do that. So please communicate with us in a timely manner. Let us know how we can help you pass this class. We do have a book that is required for this class. It's in the welcome email. It's also in every registration. So everyone that did a registration should have access to that book. And you can paste that into your search browser and it should come up very quickly. And then we're doing the 70% to pass. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I do want to make it clear that our goal is a 70% to pass the course. So we are all on the same page about that, and everyone should be able to work towards that throughout the class. We are going to save this recording and upload it to Canvas, hopefully within the next day or two. And so people can have access to this. So I think that wraps up our portion. I do want to see if you guys have questions for us. You can use the chat option, and I'll repeat that question, and then we can go from there. So please send us your questions. Will this be the only Zoom? Okay, so our first question is, will this be the only Zoom meeting for this course? Yes. We say, great question. Our classes are offered in a way that you log in and do the coursework when it's convenient for you. However, we do have deadlines. So if you want to log in the middle of the night and complete your coursework, that's completely fine. This is the only time that we give you the option to all log in at the same time, but at no other time will you have to log in at the same time with everyone else. I hope that answers your question. Okay, are you still available to read drafts prior to submission?
I think that the best answer to that is sometimes. So, and I'll give you an example. When the last iteration that we did of the class in the winter spring, only one person asked me to review their proposal before any weekly submission. And so I did it because there was only one person that asked. And so the answer is sometimes. It will depend. It gets more difficult for me to do that with each week because just as you have a Sunday deadline for your writing assignment, I set a personal deadline of getting comments back to everybody on their submission by Thursday. So yes, I'll be happy to do it unless everybody takes advantage of it and I run out of time.
Yeah, and it has to be in a, like he was saying, George was saying, in a timely manner, enough time for feedback and to get it back to you and so forth. It has to be reasonable. Perfect. And Andrew has a great question. So we have been getting some reports about the module saying no access. And so there was a concern that when you click on, I think it's the needs statement, I believe. When you click on it, it says no access. I was unable to recreate this. I reached out to one of our administrators. If you can try and use a different browser, we suggest Google Chrome. If it still persists, I'm going to monitor this all day today and make sure that it's resolved. Try and use a different browser. If that doesn't work, please let me know, and we can find another way to get that document to you guys. And please let me know exactly what documents are saying no access, and I can definitely take a look into that for you. Okay, I ran into the same problem for links. I ran into the same problem yesterday for certain links, but no others. I was hoping the problem would be resolved today since the course did not officially open today. Okay, so I'm gonna take this to our administrator, our Canvas person, that we're still getting a lot of problems with no access. Again, we'll just have to take that and see what happens because we were unable to recreate that. So to be announced, I'll definitely be in contact with you guys about that. We might have to share documents a different way. Some kind of weird glitch is going on with that. So we apologize for that. We'll definitely work on that. Okay, our next question is, the federal course is supposed to be more intense. How many more hours per week will be devoted to that?
Well, that is a challenging question to answer, but I think we can.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that it is any more hours, but it is more intense.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, you have to read a full mock federal RFP request for a proposal. So we teach you how to do that, but it is just at a higher level of knowledge that you will have a better sense of by the end of this 6 weeks. But as with, let's say you do something online with your county government, okay, we know that level of complication. Okay, imagine that you're at the federal government and it's the Social Security Administration. Is that an easier or harder process? Sometimes it's easier, but many times it's just more complicated. It's a federal program.
Yeah.
I know that's not a direct answer, but it's my best answer.
I think that's great. And the federal course, we want to give you, we restrict registration for that because there is a skill set that you need to sign up for that. If you have prior grant writing experience, that's perfect. But we do want to give you a feel for what this course is like because it is more intense when you get to that federal level. So we just want to give you all the tools you can possibly have to make that decision before that class is available.
Yeah, and we can talk, and we can interact about that between now and the deadline for signing up for the next class.
Absolutely.
If you have other questions,
yeah.
Because I think you'll have a better sense of how much time this class actually takes you. You may find, oh, wow, I did that in 10 hours. Or you may find out, ooh, it actually took me 15 hours.
Right.
You'll have a better sense.
Did you say how long those federal proposals usually are?
Well, they can be dozens, if not hundreds of pages.
Just the RFP, which is a request for a proposal, could be up to 100 pages to read.
Yeah. Ours is 38, but you've still got to review and understand a 38-page document. RFP.
Yeah.
And I don't want that to be intimidating, but it's intimidating.
Yeah.
It's intimidating for anybody who's applying for federal grant. It's not just you.
Yeah, and you guys are paying really good money to take this course, and we just want to be as transparent with you as possible about that advanced course so you know exactly what you're getting into and you don't feel overwhelmed and like you're not getting your money's worth. I hope that makes sense.
I think so, yeah, sure.
So we'll go on to the next. Okay, so, it looks like you guys are communicating, which is awesome. So do you have it? Okay, so within the first module, a couple in visual screens that are reading the full chapter. Oh, because Scott is asked, there's a question about and I'll answer it for everyone. So the reading assignments, so I don't see any textbook modules in that section. Are they in a different place? So the textbook modules are scattered throughout the first week.
Well, yeah, so they're going to be within each week's module, they're going to be, it'll say, watch X video, read this chapter of the book, and read this and click on this link to this PDF and read it. It'll always be mixed up each week.
Exactly. Okay, so, and then do you have a preference for assignment submissions, i.e. copy and paste versus Word? And if there is a glitch during submissions, should we contact Canvas Help Desk and email you as well? preference for submission, copying, oh, like Word or PDF?
Yeah, well, what I'm usually able to give the richest set of feedback through is if it is a Word doc or if it is a doc that I can then use like a track changes. If you submit a PDF, which is absolutely fine, I'm going to use my version of Adobe to convert that PDF into a Word doc because I mean, just the way it works. So I hope that answers that question. I'm able to review whether it's a Google Doc, whether it's an Apple Doc, whether it's a Office Doc. I can grade all of those. I convert them usually to what I feel I'm able to give you the best feedback. The glitch about during submission, that's an awesome question because I am an advocate in grant writing to never submit anything on the day that it is due. Because if you are submitting a proposal in real time for a real thing that you need money for, and you run into problems and it's 15 minutes till the deadline, you may really be out of luck. So first of all, try not to wait until the last minute. And yes, the answer is please do contact Canvas Help Desk if you have a problem. I'm probably not going to be able to solve your problem unless it is something that has come up before and it's easy as a user to figure out.
Right.
I encourage you and I advise you that to get questions about the writing assignment to me by noon Phoenix time on Fridays. That then gives me the rest of the afternoon to answer your questions. Sometimes I am online answering questions over the weekend, but you can't count on it. And I can also say that if you're encountering any problems Sunday evening, I'm not going to be available that late to help you solve any problems there.
Yeah, that's a good point. And neither are we, the help desk is 24/7, but our office is not here on weekends, obviously. So perfect. Well, you guys have been awesome. It looks like the questions are slowing down. Are there any others? Anything else that we can cover? We only have just a few minutes left. You can always email us separately or put it in the virtual office as well. And we'll try and do a transcript of this as well, in addition to the video for everyone. So, okay. I'm going to just scroll back through. Oh, 2 new messages. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Perfect. Well, if that's it, then I think we'll go ahead and wrap up. Thank you, George.
Welcome.
Thank you to everyone who came and logged in today. This is a great class. You're going to learn a lot, and you're going to be really excited about what you learn in the class and what you're able to take from it and move forward with. So we're excited to have you in class. Welcome to class. And please let us know if you have any other questions. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you.